Yo, what's up guys, the Insane Game Freak here. Yes, I am doing another gaming video. I'm kind of on this gaming kick with the whole Xbox reveal, the Wii U bullshit, the PS4, and the E3 coming up. So obviously there's a lot of more gaming oriented videos. Yes, I will get back to the anime and the nostalgia rushes and shit and the societal discussions. But this video, I don't really want to call it a response. It's more of, it's one of those videos I do where it's on a topic similar to a topic another YouTuber has done. Review Tech USA kind of inspired this one. He was talking about the confirmation that, you know, Xbox One won't have the ability to play Xbox 360 games, and you know it's not backwards compatible, which isn't a big deal because you know the PS4 is backwards compatible. And that was his whole thing, that he didn't think it was a big deal. But for me personally, this video is more of a discussion based around that, because my argument is more of that they are kind of a big deal and why I believe they are a lot more necessary than people will think they are. And I'm going to go into my reasons why. Granted, I mean, I've seen a lot of gamers freak out just through that fact alone. It's like, shit, the fucking Xbox One isn't backwards compatible. Shit, the PS4 isn't backwards compatible. So let me go down the reasons. Let me just talk about it and explain to you why I believe that it is a bigger deal than what people make it. I don't think I'll put it this way. It is not a big enough deal for you to decide whether you're going to buy the system or not because of backwards compatibility. It's not that big of a deal because people bought the PS3 and technically that thing can't play PS2 games. Well, now anyway. So we're not really going to go that way. I'm just saying as a general statement, it's not a big enough deal to break whether you'll get the game or not, console or not, but it's a bigger deal. It could be one of the deciding factors, I'll put it that way, if you were to put it with a whole bunch of other things you have, like in terms of cons for the system. So let's get into it. Okay, so here's my thing. The thing I don't think people really understand is when you buy a new console, you or your parents are dropping about, at the very least, if you wanted to, the Wii U, I think it would be the cheapest out of the next generation console. So if you wanted to buy a new generation system, whether it's a Wii U, a PS4, an Xbox One, I don't think anyone really needs to buy an Xbox One. I'm just saying, but that's me throwing cheap shots. I'm sorry. The very least you're gonna spend is $300, okay? And that's if, and that's the very least you will spend. You will at least spend $300. You will spend $300 on a game console, alright? Now that in itself is a lot of money just by itself. I mean, most people get a shit ton of groceries with that, usually pay off a good few amount of bills depending on where your living situation and whatnot. You know, that's rent money right there. Okay, so we have that, and then most people want to buy at least one or two games with the consoles. Alright, we have, let's say for the Wii U, Super Mario Brothers U and Zombie U. For PS4, let's say Killzone and Drive Club, and for Xbox, let's say NBA and Thief, or NBA and Thief, or Quantic. I can never remember this the full time. I want to call it Quantic Dream, but I know that's not what it is. It's Quantic something. Fuck it. Let's just say Watch Dogs and Thief. Okay, so we got that situation. That bumps you up at least another $100, $120, and that's if you're not buying any extra peripherals with the system, which you're more likely going to do, because if you're a hardcore gamer, you're probably buying some headsets, some pro controllers. At this point, your shit has gone from, like, at the very least $300 to at the very most over $1,000. Okay, niggas don't have that kind of money, especially in this economy. We don't have the kind of money to be buying every new, like, and this is what always kills me, because this is my whole argument against launches for systems too. Not everybody has a fuck ton of money to get every launch game anyway. Like, the Wii U's dry spell in a sense is kind of annoying, but at the same time, it's like, not everybody's going to be able to afford a $60 game over and over and over again, like, each month, considering you're also spending that month rebuilding your finances because you just dropped, at the very least, $300 on a console, you know, a hobby, something you don't necessarily need. So, with that being said, you're probably gonna have a lack of games, not even if they're not available, but just because you can't fucking afford it. With that being said, if you can't fucking afford the games, what would be a good alternative? Well, obviously they have the eShop and PSN, Xbox Marketplace, and whatever the fuck. Well, backwards compatibility is cool because you have your older games on your older console that isn't really that old. It's like maybe at this point, if you're going for let's just take the Wii U because it's the only next gen console out. It's like what, about not a less than a year difference between the Wii's you playing your Wii versus playing a Wii U. If you can take your, the newest fucking Wii game, like for example, I think The Last Story just came out. Fucking put that in, you can play that on your Wii U. That's a game you can play. For the PS4, it's like, oh shit, I want to get this exclusive Infamous, but oh well, I bought GTA 5 like 4 or 5 months ago. Let's grab this and put this in here. That would have been helpful because, and we know that these consoles, these quote unquote last generation consoles will be supported at least for another year or two. That means I will have games, even if I can't afford to buy new games, I can take the old games that I have bought, the old games I've recently bought, and play them on this console. Also, it just makes for a smoother transition into a newer console. It's one of those things that you can put on as a pro and be like, well, it has backwards compatibility, so I don't have to just have 2 Nintendo consoles or 2 Sony consoles or 2 Microsoft consoles in my house. I can just swap out one for the other and still have the ability to play almost the exact same amount of games, except for, obviously you won't be able to play the previous generation's backwards compatibility games, like for example GameCube, PS1, and Xbox One shit. Not Xbox One, but like the original Xbox games. So to me, that's always been my thing, because people always are like, oh, you don't need it. I mean, you're gonna keep your old console anyway. But it's more cost effective, and people want to talk about how certain things are useless conveniences. Like for example, a lot of the apps on the Xbox One that people were complaining about, those are useless conveniences. For backwards compatibility, that is a nice convenience, and it helps because you may not have the money to be able to spend on these new games. Especially if the price goes up, like people are thinking it is, like goes up to $70 and some shit, which it really better not. That'd be some bullshit. Granted, I know they were higher than that when gaming first started. I think they were like $100 or something. It was fucking ridiculous. I'm not 100% sure. I may be talking out my ass with that. But my whole thing is just that when it comes to backwards compatibility, not only does it give you more of a reason, and plus that you're now buying, and for those companies, you gotta understand, you're now making money from both of your generation platforms. The time period between people making a full transition over to the PS4, you got people still buying PS3 games. And if it's anything like the PS2's longevity, there'll be games for that damn console for a while, like a good while. I think the PS2 became officially like discontinued, I think, what was that, like a few years ago, maybe like 1 or 2 years ago. It has not been that long at all since they stopped, making games for the PlayStation 2. If it's anything like that, you have a game console that, you have people are more willing to buy a console when there are more features that cater to them as a gamer. Useless apps, shit about TVs and sports and shit, and that goes for Nintendo too, the TV app, Netflix and Hulu and shit. That shit isn't important, but if you give me a feature that directly influences my gaming experience, I don't give a fuck, because it's like, okay, backwards compatibility. That means I can buy GTA 5 on the PS3, and I can buy Infamous Second Son on the fucking PS4, and I can put them in the same goddamn console. Meaning I switch this big black motherfucker out for this new black motherfucker, and then buy 2 games from 2 generations of gaming, and I'd be fucking fine. That's a pro, because you're making more money off your games, and people are more likely to buy your new console. A lot of people don't. It's like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's not like I play my old games. But what about this period of time when you are playing your old games because you don't have the money? Some of you don't have the money to get these new games. Some people don't own Monster Hunter, not because they don't want to play Monster Hunter, but because they don't have the money to own Monster Hunter. Having a backwards compatible game, at least in this transition period, is great, because they have something to play. Like if I wanted to play Ark Rise Fantasia on the Wii U, this is what I can do. I can take the case for Ark Rise Fantasia and put that bitch in and play it on my Wii U using a nunchuck and a Wii mode. Same thing for More Mouse and the Demon Blade. Same thing for Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. Same thing for Kirby's Epic Yarn. Same thing for Sonic Colors. Same thing for Super Smash Brothers. It's helpful. I mean, it was one of those benefits that could easily be like the defining in itself. It could turn into the defining factor. It's like, well, there's a lot of cons and there's a lot of pros, but oh shit, one of the pros is backwards compatibility. which means I can get rid of this big black motherfucker. People are more like, then on top of that, that provides them with an opportunity to make more money, because more likely, if your new generation console can play your old generation games, you're more likely going to sell your old generation console, aka they get money for the old generation console, and they have money to go buy more games for you. I just don't. As I said, it's not that huge of a deal. I wanted to argue it because I felt like people underestimate the power of backwards compatibility. It's a financial thing, and it's just a very convenient thing. Some people don't want to keep 16 damn consoles. I mean, if you're already a collector in your own right, there's enough shit you got to keep anyway. You don't need to keep all this. If you can get rid of something, you rather get rid of it. And if you can make money off it, that's even better. It's like, well, fuck, I have a Wii U. Let's get rid of this Wii. Oh, look at this. Like I'll give you an example. GameStop has this whole trade-in shit right now. I'm more likely to fall into this GameStop trading shit. You know, you get $50 if you're trading your Wii up for a Wii U. It's like, well, look at that. I wanted a Wii U, but I was worried. I'm like, oh wait, it's backwards compatible, so I don't need my Wii anymore. Here you go, GameStop. Give me the $50, so I'm spending $50 less on Nintendo's new console, but I can still play my Wii games, and I don't have to give up all this peripheral shit I've spent money on. And oh look, $50. What's coming out next month? Game & Wario? Well, fuck me. Like, that's the way I view it. That's just my thoughts and opinions on it. But please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. That's me when it comes to backwards compatibility. I think it's more of a pro than people think it is, and I just want to kind of shoot my argument for it. You know, everyone has, you know, if Review Tech USA may not be the type of gamer who really plays his old games, but at the same time, not every fucking person who owns a new console has a shit ton of extra money after the fact to buy every new game that comes out. That's what I'm saying. If your launch window is weak, this is a side thing, but if your launch window is weak, it's not a big deal because most people don't have all the goddamn money in the world to buy everything in your launch window to begin with. But that's just me. So please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. This is the Insane Game Freak. Life's a game, play to win. And I will catch you guys later. Peace!